Wait a few minutes for David to show up.
Okay, Steve, I set it up to record to our cloud, so we'll be able to post it on YouTube. And
Excellent.
I just named you host, so you should be all set to control everything you guys need to control.
Great. All right. I guess we'll take it from here and wait for Dave to show up.
Sounds good. Enjoy.
All right. Thanks. What time do we have? Was anyone else trying to get in last week when we were blocked out of our meeting?
I think I tried, but didn't, or forgot.
Yeah.
No sound?
Chief of Staff.
I didn't try last week. I was occupied.
But Majority
Ah.
Mitch McConnell acknowledged his caucus is divided.
Hello. Welcome.
Hi. Who we got tonight?
I'm just waiting on Dave. That's about it.
Okay.
I'll give him a text real quick to see where he's at.
Okay. This is great.
There's David, half of them.
Well, have you done the Cape?
Yes, I am.
Is
It's
it
a
raining
beautiful
there?
day down here.
Is it pouring rain here?
Clear blue skies down here.
Hi, David. No sound yet? I wonder if he's trying to reconnect. David, can you hear us at all?
Okay, any voice?
Hey,
All right, we got voice. Okay, sorry for the delay. I had a class earlier this afternoon, a writing class, and I wasn't able to get on with my laptop, so I had to use the iPad. And I tried getting onto this one with a laptop, and it didn't work either. But anyways, here we are.
Yeah.
Okay. I miss anything?
nope, just been waiting.
Okay, I want to start with an update for Bob and David and Sherry on the meeting we had concerning the Memorial Building. There was a lot of extraneous discussion about all sorts of things, but the way it was finally left was that Dutton was going to have the architect prepare some drawings to explore possibility of seeking a variance to limit, reduce the 2 bathrooms down to 1 bathroom. And that it would have to go to the access board and it would have to go to the board of, the plumbing board. And I really think he'd be successful in both of them, but we've got to wait and see what the architect says. He did say at that meeting that the architect had come back with drawings or come back with the impression that it was not going to be possible to make a cutout in front of the memorial building for a handicap parking space, for an accessible parking space, because that would reduce the front lawn of the memorial building enough so they couldn't get the ramp in to the front steps. So that was going to create a problem. Steve, did I miss anything there?
No, that kind of covered it. We're just like, it was like you said, we're still waiting on like for when we're going to hear back on any revisions to the plan.
So they still plan to put the restrooms in the middle of the first floor, or has that changed finally?
The plan that the last set of plans that we got from them, they're tucking the bathrooms off to the side, either side. There would be one smaller bathroom to the right, so you don't see it when you come in the door. And then there would be a larger bathroom, an accessible bathroom, accessible unisex on the left-hand side, basically where the stairway is now, going
Okay.
down.
Dave, could I ask a question? Back to the no cutout for parking in front of the building. Well, how would they handle handicap parking?
That's a good question.
You'd have to walk across the street.
Yeah. Well, even with a cutout, a person is now going to be opening their door into South Street traffic.
Right.
Sometimes during the day, that's challenging.
Impossible.
Impossible is the right word.
David, do you want me to bring up the plans to share with everyone?
You could do that.
Sure.
This meeting. No, if you go to the town of Bridgewater. Or I think.
Can everyone see that?
Yeah.
June 22nd would be my email.
Yeah, they have it looks like they have the ramp starting almost like right at the curb at the curb.
Yeah.
Not on it's not on the sidewalk. The sidewalk would be right here, but to get this turn, they have it starting. There would be no room for it to have the right grade to
Right.
if you pushed it in. And one thing that we did bring up in the meeting was that because right now it's used for, like, their plan is to use it for office space. And our request for having it have some display space in this building now has turned into just basically this area right here, right in the center. It's a very
Right.
limited space. So here's what it may look like. It's almost to the point where it's not even worth being a space.
Useless, useless.
And then to make it even worse, the building's only going to be open from 8 to 4, or maybe 8 to 4 Monday through Thursday, and half days on Friday.
Oh,
So what happened during the meeting? I asked like if we're kind of not going to have any usable display space, is that something that we can talk to the library or talk to any other town building to kind of like acquire space that we can have a display? And I think David, have you started to have discussions with the library trustees?
Yeah, I've swapped a couple emails with the folks that set the agenda, and we're on the agenda for August 18th to discuss historical display in the library. Seems like, well, Mike Dutton wants to take their whole workroom on the second floor and turn it into historical display space. But I'm sure that wouldn't go over well.
Which room is this?
That's the rest of the first floor, from the historical room towards South Street on the same side.
Oh, the tech office.
Yeah. Yeah, I did some work in there with a microfiche reader a couple months ago, and there is a lot of storage. I know they had a lady in there working full time, Diane Daigle or Dougal? She was working in, that was her office for a long time, setting things up. And it was a pretty active space, but when I was in there with the microfiche reader, there was a lot of storage in there. So I don't know how active they are in there anymore, but I'm sure they do use it. So it'll be good just to sit down and talk with them. It was interesting to hear Dutton say that he didn't think it was such a good idea to have the historical room open for people just to come and go as they pleased, which Sean was doing that, the last librarian. So we can discuss that with the library trustees when we get in there.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So that's about where the memorial building sits right now. I'm not optimistic that we're going to hear soon. I know they had to come up with a plan for that money, the leftover money from the town hall funding, academy building funding, by the end of July, and I don't think that's going to happen. So he didn't bring that up again at the last meeting. So I don't know if it's still how critical that issue is. Steve, where is the all of the work with the community preservation? I know they approved $350,000, but we suggested that they break up the project and possibly go forward with the accessibility to the front of the building at this point. And they said, no, we can't break it up into two different projects. It costs too much money.
Actually, Carlton, since you're on the, if would you be able to speak to that, Carlton? You might be able to word it better than I would.
We we recommended that there would be two, both, that the front entrance and the lower basement entrance go forward. That's the only money that we recommended to go forward. So however they choose to do that, that's two separate cost items. But that's the only thing the Community Preservation Committee recommended that the town preservation money would fund. Nothing else.
Yeah.
So I don't know, and we put conditions on it. They don't. Some of the councilors are saying, "How can you put conditions on it?" But the Community Preservation Committee has administrative objectives and requirements, and we can do whatever we want in terms of making details to assure that our money, the CPA money, is in fact spent correctly. So that's why we specified it that way. And his comment in our meeting is that the 350,000 would let him go forward. So we'll see.
Yeah. Well,
If they want to change that, two recommendations is that if the town council approves it, they have to come back to us for permission to change and use the money differently.
yeah. I don't know where he's going with it as far as the speed of this whole project, because
David, didn't he say that, excuse me, didn't he say that he would be getting a hold of the access board and getting back to us within like a week or so? I mean, that's what it sounded like to me, that he was going to move on it in a couple of days. So it's worth a follow-up to say, how are you doing with that?
I thought he was going to get to the architect and ask the architect to put together the drawings, because to get before the access board, you're probably looking at 4 to 6 weeks at best.
I thought he was going to go ahead and run the concept by them to see if they had hiccups initially. But maybe I'm wrong, but I thought the conversation is for him to move forward more quickly with the access board to see if in fact they had a chance of approval.
Well, I can check with him tomorrow.
Just check with him and see how they're doing. I think if you don't check with them fairly constantly, it will go by the wayside.
Yeah.
So that's my input on that.
Yeah. I had an experience with a conversation with Dennis Gallagher about 3 weeks ago, and he was very disappointed to hear that Dutton was taking some time off, because he was he was expecting the highway barn to be torn down before Dutton went off on summer vacation. It didn't happen. And I was talking with Nate Schofield the other night prior to the Finance Committee meeting, and he said Dutton was coming before the Finance Committee to get, I think it was $50,000 approved for the demolition of the highway barn. Well, I don't know. The president of the council, somehow they're not connecting here, because the project didn't happen. So
It's going to cost that much. It's going to cost that much to take down that barn on Spring Street.
Yep. Well, I'd be surprised if they get away with it that cheap, because if somebody starts poking into the ground in that concrete and doing some testing on it, the front part of that building is where they stored all the chemicals that they used to use for spraying, which are no longer legal. So I remember going in there sometime, and it was the smell was pretty pungent in that front room. So I don't know if they ever had it treated or tried to get rid of it or whatever, but they could be opening up a can of worms, and 50,000 wouldn't even come close if they had to pay to have that concrete disposed of in some other manner. So, but that's not related to our project. David, have you heard anything about the hidden mailbox?
I have not heard a single thing about it, Dave.
Yeah. Well, they don't have a lot of people hanging around the building now, so maybe they can fall back on that as an excuse for moving it. That was back in November. They said they were gonna move it, right?
Yes, they did.
Yeah. And then even then, we never really, or they never really made a commitment onto the new location.
David, did you get that in writing from them?
Uh,
Either David,
No.
either one. David Friend?
I did not, no.
That's the
no,
problem. You got to get stuff in writing from them. And the way to handle that is if they agree to something in a meeting, you send them an email and say, you agreed to this by this date. Then you're on record and he's on the hook.
Yeah,
That's a good idea, Carlton.
Not to tell you how to do things, but I've had several instances recently that he's just not responded to some very exciting potential projects and it just had no response.
I appreciate
Yeah.
the advice.
we've seen that also. See on the agenda, any more on the Pleasant Street property, Steve?
That's the Barstow House.
Barstow, yes.
Yeah. We had to reschedule the discussion. I was supposed to have a discussion with Anna Callahan and Jennifer Goldstein from CPC and James Walsh about it last week. It had to be rescheduled, so we're having that on August 5th, I believe.
Okay,
So I'll have more information as of then, but I think I wasn't able to get into the discussion of like what the goals of the review is just yet, of what they're looking to do
yeah.
with the building.
Have we heard anything back from the Johnson family concerning the Alden property?
Once again, I haven't heard anything back.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything.
Jennifer hasn't mentioned that she'd been in contact with them, or?
Not that I was aware of, and I did miss the last CPC meeting, so
And I can update you a little bit. Apparently, it's caused a bit of a conniption and issues within the family, and so they're continuing to look at it.
Okay,
And I think we should stand back,
yeah,
stand down.
yeah, my dealings with the family, it's there's 4 children and it's pretty multifaceted, because they're all coming from different directions.
right.
So it sounded like to me, and I just think that we need to lay low for a while. Let them figure out what they want to do.
Yeah. So, well, getting back to the library, the meeting's open on the 18th, the trustees meeting, so if anybody wants to attend, and we can discuss the needs of the historical commission.
You know, if we could get that room back there at the tech office and have them move up to where our office is, that might give us some more room.
Well, it'll give us more room, and we take some stuff out of the locker and bring it up there, but it still doesn't help us with display and manning the room.
No, correct.
It's still an ongoing problem. I think we should probably discuss possible display, just some display cases down on the lower levels, permanent display, so that we can rotate things through it, and encourage maybe a little bit of interest into the historical artifacts upstairs in the historical room.
David, can I expand a bit on that conversation that was held?
Sure.
I was sitting in on it, and basically the town manager said the library was trying to, I will say, minimize the amount of hard copy books they have. And so they were looking at different options, and they were thinking about historic artifacts, et cetera. And that's when it came up that you guys should meet together, because there is a potential that you could have even more of the library if they go in that direction of fewer books for more display. And so not only the historic room, but also for more appropriate display of historic artifacts from the town, And I thought that was what the genesis of the meeting, well, that was the genesis of the meeting, but I thought the goal of the meeting was to have a discussion of how you can better handle the historic room, but also how you can maybe incorporate some displays. I may be speaking out of line here, but that's what I understood.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the options of where it could go. I know I think in that first meeting that we talked about the room next to the historic room, but I do recall saying that there could, excuse me, that there could be a potential, excuse me, pardon me, a potential larger space if they are consolidating. So that was something that's more accessible. So I guess we'll see more in the 18th. So we can push for that.
Question from Bob Wood. I was down in Bagchog Library looking up family history, and like the windows at the back or on South Street, we could have it down there so you have a view of the windows, but then put glass up in front. The library could still have photo of that, but we could put displays along the glass that people couldn't get into unless we were there to open the key, and we could put some shelves under the balcony. So you have that room to display and have visitors.
Yeah.
I think one of the most important things is making it more accessible and
That'd be on the first floor, would be accessible to,
and
one of us would have to be there.
yeah. Or if it is displays, something that is secured, but like where you don't have to go into another room to see it.
Yeah, if we could have a link on the town's library webpage to the special collections at Bridgewater State, that would be a big help because they've got quite a few pictures, their glass slide collection and so forth in their special collections, plus the Macros report and so many other things that the town you can't get to going through the public library. So that could work out pretty well. I had a gentleman call me this week. He's purchased the colonial Saltbox style house on 102 Orange Street. No, Auburn Street.
Okay.
And he was looking for some information. So I told him to look into the Macros files. That would be the best source.
If you want to direct them to the Historical Commission Facebook page, I could probably try to drop some data that I found. If in my time, try to see if there's any little information I could throw up there.
Okay. I'll reach out to him and tell him to check out the Historical Commission Facebook page.
David, do you want to excuse me, drop me a email what he's looking for?
He
I'll
bought the
look
house.
into
He was just looking for some history on it.
Yeah, I'll see what the deeds produce.
Yeah. Okay. You've researched that one before, Bob?
I'm sorry?
You've researched that one before?
I don't think so.
Yeah. I'm really not that familiar. I've ridden by it many times, but I know those two colonials, two on the left-hand side, they're very similar. The first one was part of a study done in the during the Depression, WPA project, and there's some pictures. There's somebody new.
Yeah?
Oh,
You're muted if you're speaking.
Yes, this is Behike Hepzibah. I'm the Matakeesit Tribe Strategic Communications Director.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm here to witness the kind of after-action report for the event on Saturday.
I haven't spoke about it yet, but
Okay.
we'll speak about it in a few minutes.
All right. I'll just stay on mute and
Absolutely.
wait for that.
Okay. Welcome to the meeting.
Thank you.
So we're talking about 102. Was it 102 Auburn Street?
I thought it was 102 Auburn.
I can, yeah, if you can send him, or if you, once you find the information, I'll do what I can to find some information on it.
Okay, I think I've still got his phone number on my phone. I'll give him a call.
Steve, cross-check me with that. Steve?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay. Anything else?
Yes, well, I guess I've had a few, I've been a little bit busy in the past few weeks.
Yep.
Before we I speak with our current guest that just arrived, I'm just going to talk first about what happened about a week ago. I don't know if everyone's aware that I've been speaking with the town of Bridgewater, England, about the our shared connection.
Yep.
We've had and how it made it onto BBC World News. The connections between the towns. Last Sunday, what I had was a meeting with the Bridgewater, England, with their twin towns. They had a annual meeting where all of their twin towns got together. So there were some towns from Malta, from Germany, from China, from Portugal, and I was their kind of special guest at the end, kind of speaking about Bridgewater in general, and who we are, and the similarities between our towns, and I was able to kind of give like a 10-minute presentation on Bridgewater itself, and they're interested in continuing even though we've had in the past some like kind of like twinning events, I don't think anything was official. So that might be something that we're looking forward to, that we might be working towards, is becoming a twin. Once again, a twin town with, officially a twin town with Bridgewater, England. We've had a lot of good conversations. The mayor of Bridgewater was on that meeting, and he's looking forward to having more communication with us. So,
Well, should we be linking him up with the our town manager?
I think we should. I think we need to, my main connection in England is their town councillor.
Yeah.
So I can start the conversation as to like how we can better share stories, share information. I can send everyone a link to the it was the event that I had on Saturday was recorded. I'm sorry, on Sunday recorded. So I can send everyone the link so that if you want to watch and you want to see what other towns and how they celebrate their twin towns. It was a great event. Just kind of everyone shared what like their connections and what they bring to the twinning.
This is really good, but I would say that by charter, the spokesman for the town is officially the chair of the town council. For official business of this type, it's the chair of the town council, not the manager.
Okay.
That's by charter.
Yeah.
So I think what I'll do is maybe a good step forward might be bringing this in front of the town council. Speaking of like the connection and having that discussion go into the town council's agenda, see what they want to do with this.
Okay, will you get a hold of Ann on that, or do you want me to?
I can put it together if I have the I have the connections, but I will CC you on everything that I
Okay,
send.
great.
Um, one other minor thing is that the town hall, the study, we're meeting. I think we're meeting on the next week to go over the continuing feasibility study for the town hall to be used as a cultural center. So by next week, next historical commission meeting, I'll have a little bit more information on that.
Now, you had a lady that was a space planner and she offered her services. Do you know if she was ever able to get a hold of any plans?
We had they just gave us a midterm, kind of like a midway plan set of plans. So that they've been is it Arts Market is the consultant, and they've already kind of put together some scenarios.
Oh, okay.
So like there's already a few page document of scenarios that we can look at, and that's what we're going to be reviewing. The town hall committee we'll be reviewing that next week.
Are you guys going to post it online?
Not sure because if it's an ad hoc committee.
Who do you report to?
Michael is on the town manager is.
Report to the town manager and only the town manager?
It's the town manager and the consultant. The town manager is the one who ran the.
Ad hoc committees can go either to a group, like the board of the town council, or it can go to an individual. If it's to an individual, then you don't have to follow quite the level of open meeting transparency.
Okay. Then I would definitely say it's an individual because Michael was the first. So we'll find out more about that upcoming next week. And so the most recent event, which happened on, I don't know if people have been aware, for the past 9 weeks, there's been Stand Up for Justice in the center of town in Bridgewater. Talking and our guest this last Saturday was the chief Sachem of the Matakeesit tribe of the Massachusetts Nation. It was it was put on. It ran in the center of town from 10 until around like 1:30, and then there was a kind of a homecoming ceremony down at Titicut, where there was a land ceremony and a water ceremony that were handled. Now it was if people aren't familiar, the Titicut reservation is land that has in the years back there was a deed that was given that was owned by the tribe, and it's kind of been a contested deed. And so what this meeting in the center of town, it kind of gave it was a homecoming in a way to the tribe to kind of show coming back to Titicut, coming back to the native land, and I don't know if I may not be speaking speaking the best about it right now, but you guys actually want to step in at all and describe your experience?
Are you speaking to me?
Yes, sorry.
Are you speaking to me?
Yes,
Are you speaking to
You've got the
yes,
floor.
yes. Okay, thank you. Yes, so we had a couple of very poignant moments at the event. Steve mentioned, there was a homecoming for a clan of the Matakeesit tribe. And one of the other moments was the swearing in of two of our new justices for the tribal court, which has been, I think I can use the word recognized by the judicial system for the state of Massachusetts as an autonomous court under the Matakeesit Nation. So that was witnessed by all the townspeople in Bridgewater that were going around the park, and also those who attended the event. We had another event, another moment, well, a couple of other moments once we got to Tittaket, which was an orientation ceremony by one of our medicine men, Rob Green. And then after that, we went down to the water, toward the water's edge where our burial places are traditionally, and where a lot of the remains of our ancestors have been desecrated, actually, historically. From the 1972 dig, where the bones were taken and capriciously shifted around between Harvard University and other tribes in the area based on what the state of Massachusetts thought was convenient at the time, in the process of them getting federal recognition. So the remains have been used somewhat as a currency by the political state of Massachusetts. However, this past Saturday, we went down to the water to cause the water to remember who it really belongs to, and then, you know, that we belong to the water, and also the earth, by placing our eagle staff, which is the equivalent of our national flag or standard. So the land remembers that all this land is actually Matakeesit territory, all of the state of Massachusetts, and even beyond those borders. It's the Massachusetts Nation is actually a confederation of associated tribes and clans that were fragmented around the time of the settlers' arrival. Part of it was the work of the, infiltration, political infiltration. Part of it was just our tribal dynamic to secure the survival and the permanence of our territories and our control over lands. But now the land and the waters and even the air recognizes us, and so it was a very momentous event. That we handed out gifts by the water, recognizing all these very key figures in the true intent of the Matakeesit Nation, including Jen Rogan and her husband Steve. Also, a gentleman came from he is the president of the Partnership for the Historic Boston, England, and Boston, Massachusetts. So yeah, we were also waiting for the representatives of Bridgewater, Massachusetts, the town managers, to come there. Michael Dutton, and also another gentleman that we've been interacting with, Stephen Salvo. I didn't catch sight of them there. Also, Harry Bailey, who's the vice president of the Bridgewater Historic Conservation Commission. So I didn't actually see them there Saturday, but they were invited to participate in the event. So So yes, we put a member of a sister tribe, the Shinnecock Nation, came, who is the leader of the Mashun Society or Canoe Society. They facilitated the water ceremony there, and everyone went into the water and reconnected with their roots, restored their relationship with the yes. And so the ceremony was concluded by Matakeesit Tribal Court. And so it's officially registered within our nation as well. So we do appreciate this opportunity to record this event and your procedures. Yes.
It was like I was a witness at the event, and which once again I want to say thank you for letting me be a witness. It was a very powerful event. Yeah, Carlton, do you have a question?
No, I wanted to compliment you on stepping forward on this. Can you, my daughter-in-law is Wampanoag, but I can't never say it right. Pocasset? She's not from the island. Yeah, she's from the original area. In her genealogy, I think this is a wonderful story. I just wanted to understand how the tribes connect into that greater Wampanoag or otherwise Massachusetts tribe. How you connect into those groups?
Well, it's a historical relationship of confederacy. Are you aware of the Haudenosaunee or Iroquois Confederacy?
Yes.
Have you heard of them? Yeah. So we did have representation from those other tribes within the Massachusetts Nation at the event. Yeah. So. Yeah, and also from the Wampanoag. So the thing is that the indigenous population before the settlers arrived, we always operated within confederacy.
Okay.
So as far as genealogical relationship, I mean, if you can imagine, people were very closely connected along, in the genealogical tree.
Right.
But the most important thing I think that people should remember is that all of the sachems, all of the chiefs among the different clans and tribes within the Massachusetts Nation all came from Titicum. They were all born at Titicum. So that is the singular unifying factor when it comes to the leadership of the Massachusetts Confederacy.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm also a member
and
of
the sachem's fifth great grandfather is Richard Gundaway, who actually took the case to court and in 1759 and was challenged by Elkanah Leonard and lost the case before the Massachusetts Bay Colony Court.
Of course. Yeah, thank you. I don't want to belabor this committee meeting, but I would love to get your email or somewhere, and maybe Steve can connect us, because I'd like to get more information around the historic Bridgewater. I trace my roots to the proprietors of Bridgewater. I don't think that's a great thing, but it's genealogically, that's how it happens. I would be very much interested in from a historic perspective of the tribal group, and if you can do that and point me to some websites or something so I could learn, I would really appreciate it.
Yes, we'll do. I'll just write in the group chat my email address.
Excellent.
Okay.
And like I was saying, it was an amazing event that I went to. Like I was very honored to be there, and I think my goal right now is I want to work with the tribe. And I also want to work with our historical commission to have this officially recorded in our history as an event that happened. So that it's so that years from now people can go and say this event happened. And I think it's very important that we get it into our history. I'm just gonna do. I'm just quickly sharing just a few photos from the event for the in the center of town. If I have. Let's figure out which.
Steve, was cable TV there?
They were not there for this event, but I am, like, we do have video. That what we're going to do is we're going to share it. I'm in talks with Bridgewater Television and getting their so this will be documented and kind of put on the Bridgewater Now, their page. And I will be putting more photos like from the event onto our historical commission page. And
Great.
I think it was I was honored to be part of it, and I really think the town is fortunate that we can have like this conversation, and we can look back at the history of the deed and the ownership of the land, and I think continue a discussion with the tribe. So I think it's something that I'd like to talk more in the future.
This is fantastic.
Yes, Steve, it's great that you've been able to pick up on this.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking the forefront on that.
You're welcome. And yeah, if anyone has any questions, I can reach out and get contacts, information from Larry, who's the chief sachem, Larry Fisher, or from anyone else in the tribe. And also, if anyone is in the area and still wants to attend any of these Stand Up for Justice, there's a lot of history. A lot of talk of history has come from these. Our conversation about England came from it, and this came from it. So it's been a very powerful Saturdays for the past 9 weeks.
It's good.
So I think I've done a lot of talking.
Steve, I'd like to interject if I may.
Absolutely.
Okay. I'd just like to make it clear that the Matakeesit tribe and its government representatives, while we are glad to stand by for any cause that is geared toward the health and safety of the population here, we don't align ourselves with any political movement, that comes from without the tribe. So whereas we may agree with some of the principles that Bridgewater Stand Up for Justice have, we don't see ourselves as being representatives of the. Our interests are solely for the concerns of the tribe and conciliation and the continued administration and care for the lands and care.
Absolutely. No, I definitely understand that. And I think it's great that we've been able to start this conversation.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
Go ahead.
There's a history of similar and dissimilar movements that have come through our territories here, and so as time goes on, we'll see how things align or don't align. But most importantly, it is very key to be grounded in the true ways of law and order of the land. And so, we thank you for recognizing the need for the healing of both communities, settler communities and indigenous. So we look forward to opportunities where we can work together at Titicus for healing that concern Bridgewater and the other towns as well. So please keep us in mind when you have any concerns about how to bring peace and health. One of the things I think that have come up prior is the location of the Bridgewater Old Colony Correctional Complex. And what we see from the Matakeesit point of view is that complex is kind of a vortex of sickness, of pain and of confusion. So we would like to see how we can work with other states that have experienced rehabilitation and low recidivism, and also to that note, the Chief Sachem Wampamiquan, he's actually a subject counselor, and then sits on the State Board of Recovery Coaching. So there's that. So we really want to work to bring healing and restorative practices to Titicus for the benefit of all.
Well, thank you for coming. We try to meet the third Tuesday evening of every month, and you're more than welcome to attend at any time.
All right. Thank you so much.
David,
Yes, Bob.
do you know that the planning board on August 5th, Wednesday night, is going to have a discussion on the Broad Street empty lots?
Yeah, is there any progress on that project?
I don't know.
The documents are all online. You can see the
I can speak
What's
to that.
online?
They are online. And
They're online?
they are
Plan?
online, yes. There
Okay.
was Steve, maybe you can send that. I saw it on Facebook. There was a specific way to get to the documents. What I do know is that there's some kind of, those documents been sent. I think there's a lot of stuff that probably doesn't comply with our central district zoning.
right.
And there's some issues going on, and I don't know what the official state will be, but I know that there are some serious concerns about what is now being proposed, and it doesn't quite match to the central district, central business district zoning.
Right.
Does that go past that site or just up to that site?
That goes past that site, almost past, it goes down Broad Street, a little ways past the Roach Brothers, and then it circles back around, and I don't know which street it is exactly, but it's a pretty major
Okay.
section.
I didn't think it went that far.
It comes up Plymouth Street.
The Central Business District?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll send you a map so you can do the deed work.
Okay.
So this is a major rezoning article?
It's not a zoning article. It's a proposal from the developer
Oh, okay.
that does not comport with our rules as I've given to understand. And so the planning board is being asked to look at something that was agreed to at a different level, and there's concern about that agreement.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah,
But it's no real plans, David. It's still conceptual as far as I can tell.
yeah.
It may be more official than I know, but I just have understood that there's quite a major set of questions about how we got to where we are right now.
Yeah, I thought I had heard a reference to this project made at one of the council meetings a couple back that I think Dutton was asked how, if any progress, things were happening, and he said that they were. So
Yeah, well, now you see what the progress is, and you may have some concerns about what the proposal is.
Yeah,
I do.
yeah. Okay, well, the building in the center, I was speaking with a developer, oh, probably a year or so ago. I don't remember exactly what brought it up, but the building number 2 is very similar in design to the series of buildings that were built down in Middleborough. I don't know if anybody's had a chance to notice them, but if you come off of Route 28, head at the lights, headed into Middleborough Center,
Yeah.
there's a beautiful complex. It doesn't look like there's any commercial component, but there's some really nice looking buildings in that neighborhood. So,
So,
For anyone that's looking to see these documents, if you just go in the search section on the website, if you put in Broad Street, you'll
Yeah.
see anything that was posted on July 27th. Those are the documents. So there's a few site plans that you could search through.
Thank you.
thanks,
okay.
Steve.
Anything else to bring before the meeting tonight?
David, I need to give you a bit of an update. Steve would normally do this, but he unfortunately had to miss a meeting. The Community Preservation Committee had an application from the Central Square Congregational Church for some historic restoration, refurbishment, preservation work. And there's some anti-aid laws and that kind of thing that have gone through the Superior Court. And some very specific guidance has been given out as to whether or not a church can be funded for historic preservation. We've done a large amount of work on the requirements for assessing that, and the Community Preservation Committee voted 6-0 that there are basically elements of the proposal or the application that in fact could be historical preservation.
Yeah.
So, but we have not provided any level of money. We are meeting, I think it's the 12th of August we meet, and we're in the right now the committee's evaluating one-on-one, and we submit it to our administrative person, and she compiles the results, and we're looking at what might be eligible, what is eligible, what might be eligible, and what is not eligible. So we can actually begin to talk about if any money's to be given, how much it might be.
Right.
So that's the work in progress. And I don't know, Steve, if you'd heard that or not, but.
Yeah.
I did hear that the steeple has a major structural problem.
It has a structural problem. I've read the report several times. In fact, recently, a day or so ago, and they provided to the committee a very photographic heavy document of what the assessment was. And there are issues with the steeple, yes. But the question becomes, if we fund that, does it invoke the anti-aid, et cetera? So right now we're trying to figure out since we voted that they could go forward with the application, but we have to put some serious thought into how much money. That's where we're at. It will not be anywhere close to what they've asked for, I will say that.
Yeah. They had asked for a considerable sum of money at one time. Well,
Yep.
we're talking about church steeples. I noticed today that the bell is no longer on the ground at the Scotland Church. I'm hoping that they've properly stored it and it didn't disappear.
Let's hope. But that's a historical commission thing.
Yeah. I was going to give Justin Smith a call tonight and keep my fingers crossed that they've locked it up.
Hopefully it
Yeah, I
doesn't.
hope it's somewhere secure.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's from CPC, and Steve, I just wanted to make sure that the historical commission was aware of that step has been taken.
Absolutely. Thank you for that information.
Thank you.
I have nothing
Okay.
from this end.
All right. Well, I guess we'll get together for the library meeting, and then we'll get together on the third Tuesday. So that'll be in 3 weeks.
Mhm. All right.
Okay, well,
nice
thank you all
vacation.
for attending. And hopefully I can get my computer straightened out between now and then.
Thank you, everyone. That was great.
Thank you, Steve.
Yes, thank you for all your hard work
Thanks,
on
Steve.
both the Bridgewater England and the issue with the Indians, with the Native Americans. Maybe we can do something about that in the future.
Yeah.
Put some permanent recognition. It's a very important part of Bridgewater history.
It is. I mean, it's part of the land. It's part of this area's history. So.
Right. Okay, well, thanks for coming.
Good night, everyone.
Night.
Good night.
Keep you posted. Good night.